I like to live on the edge. I think that's what we're getting to here. I think I like to live on the edge.
Therapy?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Light bulb just went off.
Hey UV fam, I'm Tara and today I'm here with Amber. And we're on video number 2, I believe, of our little interview series that we've been doing here with our students that come to the studio. So I'm thrilled to have Amber here. I haven't seen you in a few weeks, so it's really nice to see you.
I'm so excited to be here, especially with you.
So I just kind of wanted to ask you a couple of questions, like start off nice and basic. Like,
Okay.
How did you even find the studio? How did you find UV? I don't think that's a question I've asked you before.
Ooh. I was living in Ottawa and I was searching because I was moving back to Toronto, and I was searching for pole studios in Toronto, and I'd been to a couple others, but then I saw this one online and I was like, ooh, this looks really nice, you know, and it just, everything about it, like online, the website, socials, all of that just was like, I need to go check this out. So I came here, and then after that, like the rest is history, because the energy in this place is completely different. It is so accepting and loving and like expansive, you know, and just the people here and just, it was an easy sell for me. And I don't think there's been a month without a membership since I came here, which is like 2 years ago.
So 2 years ago, so that was in this actual space, not in the old space. Oh,
Yeah. The work was still being done here and stuff like that.
Oh, so you're here and you're new to the studio-ish, newish.
I'm new-ish,
Yeah.
but I'm making an imprint
Yeah.
of like my presence is steady.
So you didn't see the other studio?
No,
Oh.
I didn't.
So when did you start pole then?
I started pole in October 2020. So I'm like a pandemic baby where everything in the city was shut down, and I just needed something to maintain my physical activity. And so there was a studio that was like offering free class or unlimited classes for a week or something like that. And I was like, I'm just gonna try. I'm just gonna try one of these classes. And the first one that I did, I was like, I can't even explain it because I was so terrible. But it was the first time I'd done like a backward somersault in probably 25 years. So I was like so conflicted because I had so much fun, but I was so awkward. And then I was like, this is something you should investigate further as to like why you are so awkward in your own body. Even though you're having so much fun and you feel so playful and stuff, when I watched the videos and stuff, I was like, you are so awkward. And I'm not being self-deprecating, I'm not being rude to myself or anything. Like, I noticed like glitchiness, and that kept me going back. I'm like, I want to get better. I want to understand why I stop in certain places, or why my body just doesn't listen to what my mind is like encouraging it to do, or what I'm feeling, you know? So it just kept going from there. I think I went every day that I possibly could, you know, and during that time, everything was opening, shutting down, opening,
Right.
shutting down. So from like, I just went any chance I could get to any class I could go to at any point. And then I moved to Ottawa, and I kept going to the pole studios in Ottawa. It just accelerated quite a bit. And when I would see results, it just encouraged me to go even more.
I think you touched on something pretty interesting, is the fun that you were having.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's something to say about when we start something new.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be challenges regardless, because we're getting familiar with like the movements, the physicality of it, the you know, being in a new space, trying something new. But there's something about the fun. And I think it's part of the fun that keeps us going. How do you feel about that?
100%, absolutely, because when you're working out at a gym, it's very linear. It's like cause and effect. It's very linear. You know what you're doing. You don't know what's, like, you know it's predictable what's going to happen. But when you're in a dance class, or when you're in a flow class, or anything where you're like not only working on your strength, but you're dealing with like your stabilizer muscles and like coordination and all of those things, like that in itself is fun. When you can actually take a step back and kind of laugh at what the human body does and be like, oh, that was kind of unique, and, you know, or just it brings back that playfulness that so many of us lose in the grind of life.
Yeah.
You know, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Like we just lose so much playfulness. So coming to pole has really re-inspired a lot of playfulness inside me, you know, as well as having that unpredictable aspect where it's like, what are we going to do today? What are we going to learn today? What personal record are we going to surpass today?
Speaking of classes, what classes have you been taking at the studio, and what classes are you wanting to gravitate towards?
That's a good question.
That's a good question, Tara.
You know that I have religiously been coming to your classes right from when I started here.
Yes.
My friend Rose introduced me. She's like, "You'll love Tara's classes," and
that's
yes.
right. Okay.
So I went to your class, probably one of the first ones I did, because I'm still in level 1, so I was taking Laura's classes, but I started taking yours, and I really gravitated towards freestyle because I've always been choreographically challenged, or so I thought.
Which is interesting because some people find freestyle more challenging than choreography, so interesting. Okay.
No, I could not. Anytime I always felt more, I felt more like a failure in choreography classes because my brain couldn't attach things in the same way. Like it just seemed so logical for some people, but for me it was like a totally different language, whereas your classes, like the freestyle, was more intuitive. It leaned more towards what I needed to do, and that was like get out of my head and into my body.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it really laid the foundation of me understanding, you know, different movements, what my body could do, allowing myself to do what it felt, like dropping those barriers as to what, you know, the voices in my head versus like what actually felt right.
Right.
So I know we've had some conversations about this, and the freestyle actually gave me like a new framework in life as far as how I could maneuver and feel comfortable and accepting about where I was at right here, right now.
Yeah.
And I always would do, you know, like I love Christine's classes. I love everybody's classes. I just really went towards your classes specifically because I was set up to win, you know, with who I was as a human being and where I was at in life. And then I would do the different levels of like tricks classes because then it helped me gain a lot of strength.
Right.
From there, I went to aerial pole, so I'm pretty much a regular in Elspeth's class for aerial, and that is, aside from erotic flow classes, like my aerial classes are like, I don't want to like hurt anybody's feelings, but those are my absolute favorite ones because I already know that I have the strength to do a lot of the tricks, and it's just learning it. But those two, one, I'm relying on myself, and one, it's like a workout like none other because you're working with like a moving pole, and there's more unpredictability, I guess. I think I like to live on the edge. I think that's what we're getting to here. I think I like to live on the edge.
Therapy?
Oh my goodness. Light bulb just went off. Thank you, therapist. Unbox a little bit of stuff here.
That's what we do in the studio. Unboxing an episode. That's so funny.
I understand.
So in the last 3 years, then, what has been one of your most precious accomplishments?
Another good question. I think it's been able, like I've been able to develop self-trust and confidence within the pole studio that has completely translated into my outside world life. And even though I don't sit there and like advertise everywhere what I do in the studio, it has translated in how I show up in my life, how I talk to people, how I understand humans a little bit better, how I'm intolerant of certain things, and like the self-respect doesn't allow for certain things in my life anymore. It's shown me how strong I could actually be. It's, you know, like I'm a mom, my daughter's 25 and my son's 23, and you know, it's shown my kids that fitness isn't something for just people in their 20s. It's inspired them, you know, it keeps me being active and playful and having fun. So as much as I'm proud of the things that I do in here and being able to do a new move, I'm more proud in how it translates in my day-to-day life.
I think that's it. It's really beautiful to hear about how much you have kind of transformed from the inside out, just by being here and taking part in the things that you love to do.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it. It has actually changed my life, and I'm not shy to say that. Like, it has changed my life from who I was. Because I work in music and everything is very 4/4. It's very structured. And coming here has allowed me to like hear music in the silence and hear music between the beats and flow within that 4/4. So even my first pole classes, you'll just see me like doing 4/4 in my head. Whereas now, even when I'm playing music or when I'm working in music, like even the music that I pick is so much more like broad, you know, and I take more chances, and it's come through in everything. Like now it's a part of my life. Everything's intertwined.
That's really interesting, actually, to hear. Like how, cause, you know, in our flow classes we dance to music, so how that has allowed you to shift your perspective is really cool to hear.
Totally.
What about some challenges? What's been one of your biggest challenges in the last 3 years?
Right. Well, I think the first thing that you have to surmount or overcome is like being self-critical. Because you can walk into a place and look around you and it might seem like everybody is so much more advanced or so much stronger or so much more coordinated, but you actually helped me realize, you know, accepting where we're at when we're at that place, the only way we're going to move past that is if we are like, okay, this is where I'm at today.
Paradoxical theory of change. Look it up.
Paradoxical theory of change. Note. See, I don't even know what I was doing. But just in like, when I say that I sucked really bad when I started, it's because I've accepted that indeed I was not good, you know? And when I have days where I feel glitchy, that's okay. You know, you've actually taught me that's okay, because humans are not robots. Humans are not digital music. They're not on a 4/4. Every day is going to be different. Like, you're going to have maybe a whole month where you feel like you're at a plateau, and then all of a sudden you can do a move that you've never done, you know? Like, I struggled with shoulder mounts for so long. Like, in my head, I was like, I can't do a shoulder mount. I can't do a shoulder mount. And then
I remember seeing you do one. I was like, oh, you could do it.
I know. I didn't know I could do it.
I didn't know either.
I was like, I had done it so that I could like hold myself up gradually, but I kind of shied away from them. And then I was in one of Angie's classes, who I also love very much. She was like, oh yeah, this is one of the prerequisites to get into intermediate classes. And in my head, I'm like, just give it a shot. Like, maybe you can do it. And all of a sudden I did a shoulder mount and I was upside down and I did the full spin and I had tears in my eyes. I'm like, I can't believe this. I can't. And so now a lot of my videos from ever since then have been like, oh, look what I could do. I could do a shoulder mount and now I'm upside down. So I highly suggest people keep progress videos that even though in the beginning you might be like, oh, this is painful to watch. Then you become endeared to it and you're like, that was so cute. Like you tried so hard. Like you just kept coming back. You kept coming back and you tried so hard. And now look at where you are. And now, like I can't do at this point, like not a windmill, but like, I don't even know what it's called. Like
fan kick?
Fan kick, yeah. I'm struggling with fan kicks right now due to coordination,
Okay.
But I'm gonna get it. Because I have this showcase coming up May 31st, and that's one of my things. I have to figure out my fan kicks and perfect my shoulder mounts, and like I have goals, and it's fun to see the progression. So even though there's challenges where you're like, that wasn't the best, or I didn't get that, or that choreography was like so complex, or like it's so easy to be like, I suck, I'm not doing this anymore, but then you can be like, oh, look at you trying.
Yeah.
Look at you trying. Like, you wouldn't diss your kid or your dog or you wouldn't diss anybody that you love in your life for trying something if they didn't get it right the first time. You would be like, good for you for trying. So I think we need to give ourselves our own good graces and understanding that it's a process and challenges are good things because they show us where we can improve, but also allow us to be a little softer with ourselves.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges is like learning how to be gentle with ourselves as we're learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like we can totally say horrible things about ourselves, or it's like, oh, okay, you know what, this is the first time I'm doing this, the second time I'm doing this, like, it's okay if I don't have it right now. Yeah. Like, progress, like, it will happen. It will happen. So it's nice to hear you say that, like, you were learning how to be gentle with yourself and, like, accepting where you were.
Absolutely, and everybody here is also really supportive of that, and they're consistently reminding anybody who's in the class, like, I know you teachers and instructors can you can see it in our eyes when we're like disappointed that we can't get something. So without saying anything, all the instructors show a different variation. Or like for yourself, you're like, oh, if you don't want to do that, don't do that. Just do what you want. All the instructors are very much like, look, I've been doing this for over 10 years. Or they remind you, like, I've been doing this. This is my job, I've been doing this forever. You're coming here after you put in your day's work and you're coming here like a few times a week, whereas we've been doing this for ages and this is what we're trained to do. And it's like, oh, okay, I don't have to be like that. Or like what I see on Instagram, I'm like this right now.
Yes, that's what I love to hear. Yeah. That's what I love to hear. The comparison is like such a cliche kind of quote. Comparison is a thief of joy.
Absolutely.
And so if we can, like, huge philosophy, as you know, of mine is like, if we can accept where we are and who we are and just like love how our own movement is. And I think that's a huge, it's a huge benefit. And truly, I do think that helps us continue to progress.
It really does. It really does. Because when you're rewatching the videos, like, you see your own little quirks. I see like the hand. Remember we did that class about like what your hands are doing, and people were like, why does my hand always do this?
This is a big topic. This needs to be talked about more.
You can watch in progress videos by acknowledging, like, my hand always used to do this, like very like weak and stuff. Now I can actually see in my progress videos where I'm like, it's like a conscious thing where the weakness of my hands before being like this are now like, and it's just, it's cool. It's cool to see what your body does, you know, and you might not even be thinking about it. It's just progress from like being more comfortable in your body rather than like in a world that keeps you in your brain.
Yes, let's get out of our heads and into our bodies.
Yeah.
So lastly, let me ask you, what is something that you would like the world to know about you? Something that you want to share from right in here.
Something I really want people to know through my existence is like fitness and wellness and self-love and transformation doesn't stop at a specific age. It's like I want to constantly inspire people of all ages to learn to love themselves and accept themselves and take care of themselves. You know, coming from the music world, I spend a lot of time feeling sad watching the demise of how people don't take care of themselves. And through where I'm at right now, like I talk about this with my friends. I encourage people, like, take your fitness into your own hands. Whatever it is, if you want to go to the gym, go to the gym. If you want to go to a dance class, go to a dance class. If you want to go to ecstatic dance or whatever, keep movement in your life and take time to sit in your body. Because when you spend time in your head, it creates dis-ease within the body. And, you know, there's so many things that I would want people possibly to know, but like the biggest thing is just like we keep saying, get out of your head, get into your body, learn to accept where you are. There's no age limit. Like, I'll be transparent, I'm 47, I don't feel 47. I want to teach pole one day, and like, yes, absolutely. Even if it's like beginner classes, I want to continue to inspire people to really just not lose themselves, because I lost myself in life. I lost myself in the daily grind, or like in what I thought people expected of me. And when you do what you think people expect of you, then you completely lose who you actually are, you know? And so through this process of getting to know myself, I guess that's like another thing. It's like, get to know yourself again. Get to know how strong you are. Get to know your capabilities, you know, and don't be hard on yourself. And as much creativity as you can bring to music or any of your passions, you can bring to yourself through dance or through movement or just like eating properly and like, yeah, like watching what you ingest, like for media or like your environment or people you surround yourself with. Like, I just really want to like inspire people not to give up on themselves because they reach a certain age or they have kids or they work a lot or whatever, because it's all reversible.
Wow, okay. I've learned a few new things about you. It's so wonderful to learn new things about the people that I see here so often. So I'm so thrilled that you were able to come and join me for a little bit and have another chat with me. And yeah, I love learning. I love learning about you. So thank you for sharing your very inspiring answers with me and with the rest of UVTV out here.
I forgot the cameras. I felt like it was just us. You know,
I did too. I was like, wait, I was so enthralled by like what you were saying. I was like, wow. I was like, I didn't even have anything to say really. I was just like, I'm listening. I'm here. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Like, you're one of the people who like helped change my life. The studio has helped change my life, and like that's real. That's real AF. How this has changed my life, and this journey has changed my life. So, thank you.